For me, Azorius Tempo is one of the most interesting decks in Standard right now, and whenever I come across a version of it online, I always load it up on the arena and try it out. However, I will admit that those decks in the past just didn't quite feel right. However, this makeup of the deck does feel pretty good, and I'm very happy to finally bring it to all you wonderful people here today. So what's going on with this deck? Well, we are playing 4 copies of High Noon, 2 CMC enchantment. It says each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Now, this is a symmetrical effect. That means that we can only cast 1 spell on our turn and 1 spell on our opponent's turn per turn cycle. But that's okay because we are playing a ton of flash creatures. We have the Floodpitch Drowner, Aven Interrupter, Tishana's Tidebinder, Aang Swift Savior, and even the Enduring Curiosity. So probably we are going to be able to play something on our turn and then do something on the opponent's turn to varying effects. And then our opponent, same situation. However, if we have the Voice of Victory on the field, this says your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. That means we are going to be restricting our opponent to being able to play only 1 card on their turn per turn cycle. And if we have an Aven Interrupter or an Aang Swift Savior on the field, we are going to be really restricting what they can do. We're also playing some other counter magic, 3 copies of Spell Snare, 3 copies of No More Lies. This is another couple of good cards that we can play on our opponent's turn to really lock them down. Maybe we need a little bit of card draw. We have 2 copies of Enduring Innocence. This works really well with Floodpitch Drowner, Aven Interrupter, Aang Swift Savior, and of course the Voice of Victory, especially with the mobilized tokens. These will all be drawing cards for us. And if we have the Enduring Curiosity on the field, you guys all know what this one does. It's going to be drawing us a ton of cards. The last card to really mention is the Avatar's Wrath. This thing is a board wipe, essentially. We can choose one of our creatures to remain on the field, wipe away a whole bunch of stuff, and then make it really hard for the opponent to catch back up. I find the Avatar's Wrath is very good to maybe keep an Enduring Innocence around while we bounce our own Aven Interrupter and Aang Swift Savior back into exile, and then we can flash those out again on our opponent's turn to keep the opponent locked down. Essentially, we want to really slow the game down, just win with like small incremental damage going in every turn, 2 damage here, 4 damage there, and really just stop the opponent from doing anything. We're going to be grinding all these games down to a halt. And then over in the lands, we have 3 copies of the Abandoned Air Temple. That's the only notable card. The last thing that I want to mention is the difference between Aang Swift Savior and the Aven Interrupter. Aang Swift Savior is going to come in. It's going to airbend a card. Airbend says to airbend a permanent or a card, exile it. If a card is exiled this way, its owner may cast it from exile by paying 2 rather than paying its mana cost. So we just put something into exile and then they can replay it for 2 mana. The Aven Interrupter a little bit different. We get to plot a card. Plotted cards may be cast as a sorcery on a later turn without paying its mana cost. So there's no tax except for the tax that the Aven Interrupter is putting on it. But if the Aven Interrupter is removed from the field, the opponent will be able to play that card for free. However, they can't do it on that turn. It has to be on a later turn, and it has to be at sorcery speed. So the Aven Interrupter does a lot of nasty things with the plotting. I think overall the Aven Interrupter is going to be a more valuable flash creature than the Aang Swift Savior, especially since Aang is a legendary creature. So that is what we're going to be trying to do in this one. Let's hop into some best of 1 games and see how it turns out. See you over there. Playing some best of 1 today. Game number 1 against a Krang Enjoyer. And we are finally playing some Azorius Tempo. And we have the High Noon Voice of Victory right off the bat. That's what you want to see. We want to get our opponents nice and locked down. We also have to be very friendly to our opponents off the bat because we got to make sure that they're not just going to peace out once they get locked down under our thumb here. So let's put the Hollow Fountain out, and then is it the Voice of Victory or the High Noon? The Voice of Victory is probably going to get killed right away. So let's just go out with the High Noon. Not going to be overly impactful right off the bat, but we'll see what they have. Aang Swift Savior, that's okay. You know what? I'm going to save the Voice of Victory for a few turns because I kind of want to have the No More Lies available with the Voice of Victory on the field just to provide a little bit of safety. They're not doing anything. I guess we will flash in a Floodpitch Drowner just to get a creature on the board. It kind of looks like they might be on a Kovaro list. Whoa, Assassin's Trophy. They are gifting us a land. And you know what? I'm kind of okay with that because we couldn't put out the Abandoned Air Temple very freely there. Okay. Of course, we're going to just attack in with the Floodpitch Drowner, see what they do. If they try to kill it, I'm kind of okay with that. Sure. And then I guess the follow-up is going to be the Voice of Victory. Then we have the Aang Swift Savior and the No More Lies as backup. A little bit of an unfortunate thing there that our High Noon has disappeared. But still, Voice of Victory is absolutely insane. It hoses me all the time. Yeah, they can do that. Let's let them look at some cards. They get 2 cards. This card's so good, Rakshasha's Bargain. What a powerful effect. Okay, so now we are in a position where we can, man, I could be greedy and draw. I could draw 3 cards here, and I think I can't really pass up drawing 3 cards here. It's just too much. So we get in for 3 points of damage. Enduring Curiosity triggers 3 times. We have now Enduring Curiosity and a Voice of Victory on the field. There's our High Noon, but I think we're gonna hold up the No More Lies just to stop like a Devious Cover-Up, for example. Shocking it in. Oh boy. Singularity Rapture? Rapture or Rupture? I always forget what that card's called. It is Rupture. And they scoop it up. That's the Tempo play. We were going to draw so many cards there. We were going to put out the High Noon and have the Aang Swift Savior up. Ooh, it feels good. Next one. Oh, I really want this deck to be awesome in Standard because this deck is essentially one of my favorite decks of all time. I don't know. Do you keep a hand like this? This hand is so jank. Let's try it. This is so... We're going to push our deck to a limit. One of my favorite decks of all time is Azorius or Bant Spirits from like 2018 Standard. I absolutely adore Spirits. Spell Queller was like one of the first great cards that I came to realize. Once I came to realize that I could stop a Supreme Verdict. That's what it's called, right? The Supreme Verdict can't be countered, but if you have a Spell Queller, Spell Queller's like, I don't care. And it's just one of those really amazing cards. I absolutely love it. Oh, okay. Now we're in a little bit of a weird spot. So definitely I'm going to be attacking in here. So what I'm thinking is if I Flood Pitch Drowner and tap down the Botanical Sanctum on their upkeep, it's going to really restrict what they're able to do. I think that's probably what I'm just going to do. Maybe I should have put out the Hollow Fountain untapped there, but it's okay. So we have the upkeep stop set here. We're going to tap down the Botanical Sanctum, basically cut them off of a ton of mana, and we can even shuffle this Botanical Sanctum back into their library if we want to sacrifice our Flood Pitch Drowner here. What I meant when I said, oh, it's a weird spot is because I have the Aven Interrupter, and I kind of thought maybe I want to hold it up. This is part of the deck that I'm not too sure about how to play effectively, I will admit fully. Okay, well, we're definitely going to attack in for 4 damage. There's a 0% chance that they block here. And I'm kind of thinking the best course of action really is to get rid of this Botanical Sanctum. Just shuffle that away. And then again, on their upkeep, kind of want to just lock down this other land that they have here. And basically say, you know, draw your lands or be kind of cut off from mana. And they're drawing their lands though. So they do have two mana available to them, but we have taxed their mana a lot. And that's a nasty card to deal with because 3 power stops our Flood Pitch Drowners from getting in. Same thing. You know what? I think we're just going to get rid of this card. We're also going to shock in that and put in the Enduring Innocence. And then we can kind of start drawing some cards with the Aven Interrupter maybe in the future. I'm giving my opponent too much time to recover. And maybe it was wrong to bounce all these lands, but it just, how do you not take the opportunity to get rid of some of your opponent's lands like that? It's essentially land destruction mode, right? Okay, Enduring Innocence is okay. Let's see what we draw here. Tishana's Tidebinder, not bad, but also not the best thing. So I guess what we're going to do is try to draw 2 more cards on our opponent's turn, flashing in the Aven Interrupter to stop whatever their turn, whatever this is, their 4 CMC play is. I don't want to stop that one though. Okay, we're going to need the top of our library to really treat us well. We need to see something like Probably need to see something like Aang or another Aven Interrupter, something like this. Nope. Nope. The Abandoned Air Temple actually pretty good. So they pass it back over to us, and I guess we are we going to do that and hold up? No, we can't do that yet because it costs 4. So we're just going to hold up the Tishana's Tidebinder. We're going to hold up the Aven Interrupter and then just try to lock the opponent down from doing anything. They do have 5, maybe 6 mana this turn. No, they actually have a ton of mana. I forgot what the Badger Molcub does. So they can just put this onto the field. Let's stop it. Yeah. Drawing 2 more cards. We're putting a pretty big tax on things. And the No More Lies is good. The Spell Snare is actually not too bad either. Okay. No, I don't know. What does it tell me I can do? Oh, Tishana's. Ignore that. Okay, another land. This time around, I guess I will do the Abandoned Air Temple. That means we can hold up the... Do I just attack all? Yeah, I think I do. We are... maybe I should have put out the Tishana's Tidebinder last turn too. Maybe. It doesn't matter. We're in a pretty good spot. They're down to 10 mana. We have 2 good counter spells here to hopefully stop something. What kind of... what's the mana cost on Nature's Rhythm? Is it... It's not 2. It's going to be whatever the X is on the stack, I think. So this No More Lies is going to have to do some overtime work, but they're in a weird spot because they have 15 points of damage coming in. I guess you put the Keen-Eyed Curator in front of the Floodpitch Drowner, but you still have to put one of the Badger Molcubs in front of one of the other creatures. Whichever one, it doesn't really matter. So you probably put the grounded Badger Molcub in front of the Enduring Innocence, take 9 damage, go down to 1. Definitely we should have put out the Tishana's Tidebinder last turn as just a tempo play, just to get it on the field. All right, it's the opponent with the Salty Rope. 3 timeouts running down, probably no blocks here, and yeah, things just go through. That is an Alt F4 out of frustration, and that's what this tempo deck does. I think it definitely gets under people's skin, and that's why I love it. Next one. Some pretty smooth sailing right off the bat there. I can't imagine that it's going to continue that way, but we can hope. Opening hand, so we have to put Multiversal Passage on blue, and then this will come in. We'll put this in turn 1, this turn 2 on blue, but then we only have a No More Lies and a Floodpitch Drowner. We would need to draw into one more thing, but if we do, could be okay. Let's take it. Let's try this risky keep. Gotta make sure to be polite. And you know what? Let's blow a kiss to the opponent. Why not? I like this pet, the little raptor. I bought him. I think he was the pet from last month. Oh, okay. Well, that makes things a little bit easier. And now I have a choice to make. I think the Multiversal Passage probably going out on white now. Authority of the Consuls. Do I care about this? No. Okay. You can have 2 authorities. 1 authority, 2 authorities. What's the big deal? So let's get our Enduring Innocence out. That way, when we play the Floodpitch Drowner on future turns, at least we get a little bit of extra value there. Next turn, that's bad. But okay, so now we are in the business of stopping the Furdock Core. If the Furdock Core ends up hitting the field, we're going to be in big old trouble. Also, once they get this demon out, we're going to be in a little bit of a weird spot. But I think the demon we can deal with. Do I tax them here? No, let it happen. The demon I can deal with the Floodpitch Drowner because I can tap it down and then shuffle it back into the library. There's the Furdock Core. So the opponent had the duress for the Furdock Core, and now we are maybe in a little bit of trouble. We'll try our best. We put out the Floodpitch Drowner. They gain 2 life, but we get to draw a card, which is a land. That's good news. And we might still be able to find some hope here. Oh, they have Hex. Dang. Hex from the Furdock Core. Pretty good for the opponent. You know what? We're not going to win keeping things in hand. I think I'm okay putting the Enduring Innocence out, just attacking in for 2 and drawing 1 card. And hey, Aang Swift Savior, something for the future. This is also going to be a pretty good card to bounce their demon. but we are going to keep getting drained down by the Unholy Annexes now. And we can't really do much about it other than gain life with the Enduring Innocence just to mitigate a little bit of the damage that's coming through. Furdock Core, man. Furdock Core. But it's okay. We are doing a ton of damage. They are stuck on 4 mana, current 5 mana because of the Furdock Core. Maybe we're okay. 5 mana we have available to us. We have our Spell Snare, our Floodpitch Drowner, our Aang. We have a lot of actions that we can end up doing here. Maybe even we're going to go for Aang and La at some point. They did find their 6th land, so we have to be careful about maybe like an Ugin, something like that. Another Unholy Annex. The problem is the Unholy Annex, I can't really do anything about it because they could just recast it for the 2 airbent cost. And there is the Enduring Innocence. So I think we're definitely not going to allow the Enduring Innocence to resolve. We can just bounce this. And we get to draw a card. Seeing more cards, always good for us. Yeah, the opponent is healing quite a bit. Do I also want to put out just a Tempo Floodpitch Drowner? I think the answer is probably yes. Eventually, if I do flip Aang into the Ocean's Fury, whenever Aang attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each tapped creature you control. So, you know, that's a possibility for the future. We do need to start putting a ton of damage on the opponent because we do kind of have a small clock on us. We're going to discard a whole bunch of cards. Ooh, Tishana's Tidebinder actually kind of good here. So we'll put the Flood Farm Verge on the field and just go and pitch a bunch of lands. We'll keep the plains and the island. It's going to be fine. We're going to draw a lot of lands over the course of this game. So this card might actually come in really big for us. Don't care. They can take Spell Snare or the Avatar's Wrath. I don't know what they take here. Maybe a Wrath? Depends if they have any 2 CMC things. Spell Snare. Okay. Day of Judgment. Day of Judgment. Bad. I don't know why I didn't put them on a Day of Judgment. Okay, it's fine. We get our Enduring Innocence and our Enduring Curiosity back onto the field, and now we kind of just got to rebuild. With the Floodpitch Drowner, this draws us a card. If we find... I don't know. High Noon's okay. Actually, we kind of needed the starting town now. Okay, I could put the Tishana out to blank one of these Unholy Annexes. I think that this is going to drain us. This is such a powerful thing. Like, it's so uninteractable that I don't really know what I can even do. Oh, come on. That's brutal. The opponent... Hey, what can you do? I'm drawing a bunch of cards. They're drawing a bunch of cards. We drew a lot of lands, unfortunately. And I think that's just the game. We are going to get drained down for at least 6 here. And yeah, good on the opponent playing a very cool Azorius Demon list. I've actually thought about playing a similar list myself with Ugin on the top end just for fun. I haven't gotten around to trying it out, but you know, they kind of made our Avatar's Wraths absolutely useless. They had the Day of Judgment, which I guess, yeah, they would be playing a Day of Judgment. This is very much just a control list on the back of Unholy Annex, Furdock Core shenanigans. Like, it's so powerful. Sure. Let's blank the Furdock Core. Does this stop it from being... No, it's still... Oh? It's still all. That's a little lame because it's a... I don't like how that works. It's a changeling. The changeling is what makes it everything. This should just make it a shapeshifter, but I guess shapeshifters are innately everything. We'll attack with everything. Or, well, with everything. Yeah, with everything. But I think we are done. So GG, opponent. You got us with the Furdock Core, Unholy Annex, uninteractable cheese in our deck. There's just like nothing we can do about that one. We need a different deck to be able to smoke the Furdock Core. Hopefully no more stuff like that last game. That was a little bit of a rough one, wasn't it? Opening hand. A little sketch, but we get to go first. We have good mana with our Hallowed Fountain. By the way, beautiful, right? the day and night art lands from the Lorwyn Eclipse set were so good. It's such a shame that Lorwyn Eclipse was such a it came and went so quickly because of TMNT. TMNT just came rolling in, seemingly like right on the heels of Lorwyn Eclipse, and I don't think a lot of people got around to enjoying or appreciating this set enough. Okay, finally some action from the opponent. Ooh, Promising Vein. So because we drew the Spell Snare and they're representing Promising Vein, which definitely means like Badger Mole Cub on turn 2, we can probably hold the Spell Snare pretty confidently, assuming that they're going to drop 2 CMC thing here. This opponent needs to play so much faster. What? Okay. We got a little bit of a freebie win in game number 4. Our opponent did nothing, finally played out a Promising Vein, did nothing, and then conceded. So I don't know what was going on over there, but we'll just, I don't know what I'll do with it. We're skipping it for the most part. Forest for the opponent probably means Llanowar Elf into Badger Mole Cub, so we are all in on countering whatever they play here. We got to counter it. If it's Earthbender's Ascension, ooh, do I care about the Keen-Eyed Curator? Keen-Eyed Curator is pretty good. You know what? I do think we get rid of it. It's not so powerful, but it is still a 3/3 that's going to continually beat us down. I do suppose I have the Avatar's Wrath that I could have maybe said, hey, we'll wipe the board with this, but it's such a weird spot because we weren't able to, I don't know. This is how Tempo, I don't know how to play Tempo quite properly yet because I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. They could put out the Badger Mole Cub here. No, I think we just we Aven Interrupter, plot away the Nature's Rhythm, and that's going to make things very awkward for them because I think now they can't actually pay X for this, right? I think, if I'm remembering correctly. We'll put the Enduring Innocence on the field so that we can maybe draw cards in the future with some stuff. It's also just a 2/1 lifelinker, and yeah, we'll go from there. We might end up Avatar's Wrath next turn to get rid of all this stuff and then just hold the Aven Interrupter as an attacker. I kind of don't mind this, right? Or as sorry. So we're gonna do this. Boom. And we are going to Wrath away everything, putting the Aven Interrupter into exile. Now they have all this stuff over here, but they can't play this stuff because Aang's or Avatar's Wrath says until your next turn, your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hand. So they are restricted to these 3 cards for this turn. Then we can hold up the Aven Interrupter for feature stuff and go from there. That's a desperation play if I've seen one. And I'm kind of okay with that. Whoa, mama. Okay. Didn't expect that. So I guess we're passing. And we're just hoping that we're going to be able to, maybe with the Tishana's Tidebinder, turn off the Ouroborite. I don't know if I need to counter it necessarily. So there's the Llanowar Elf to the field. We can allow that to happen. They don't do anything else. Yeah, let them get in with the Thornspire Verge. I'm okay with that. And yeah, let's just put out a Tempo Tishana's Tidebinder. We do have 2 of them. Unfortunately, we don't draw a card off of it because it does have 3 power, but it's still a pretty good beater. And now we have so much interaction that I think we should be able to keep the opponent pretty much under control going forward. This is a Spell Snare target. What's a better? This card is so insane, isn't it? I got absolutely toasted by this card yesterday. The opponent had 2 of them on the field. They did ludicrous things on turn 4. They must have played what felt like upwards of like 15 mana on turn 4. It was, I don't know. Sometimes your opponents just do such crazy stuff with these mana dorks. Should I have flashed out the Tishana's Tidebinder to take out the Llanowar Elf there? probably. Ooh, that's nasty. Okay. But I'm so not really worried about what the opponent is up to right now. What I would kind of like to see is them use the bossing say on the Thorn Spire Verge, and maybe we can Tishana's that. So there's the Nature's Rhythm for X0. Yeah, when it's plotted, they can't do anything with it. That's pretty brutal, but it does now go into exile, and they can play it for a different cost from exile. The Burst Lightning. So if we... I think I'm okay throwing out the Aven Interrupter here, because I want to keep my Tishanas around. They also only have one... They only have one red source, so that... Well, two red sources with the starting town, I suppose. That's going to be a little bit awkward for them to get onto the field. So there's the Ouroboride. Now we could just counter it, or I could Tishana's it. Both of them are okay plans. I think this is just getting rid of it and it's done. And then the Tishana's a pretty good card to eventually stop a Bossing Say load up. We're going to hit them for 5 this turn. Put them in a pretty awkward spot. High Noon is going to be good. We don't have a way of activating the High Noon, unfortunately. We do have starting towns in our deck that allow us to blast the opponent. Now, you know what? I'm not even going to put out the High Noon. I'm going to hold up both of these. The starting towns do allow us to do the 5 mana thing here. Sure. Boop, boop. Back to hand. We draw a card. Aang, Swift Savior. Aw, would have been great. We are a little bit off, though, because they're at 5 mana, or 5 life, rather, and we are just a little bit behind now. It doesn't really matter. Okay. No, we win. Okay. GG, opponent. We win with what's on the board anyways. We didn't even need to put in this card. So we take down another Cub deck. Fighting the good fight against Cubs. All right. Just losing to Unholy Annexes, apparently. HDD Bandit is our 5th opponent. I'm not really sure. And yeah, okay. We are putting a lot of faith in these spell snares. Ooh. Not a card that I really want to see on turn number 1. We might be able to get some value at like Feather of Flight or something like that, but odds are... Ooh. Oh my. What? What an interesting looking hand from the opponent. The Floodpitch Drowner is going to be kind of okay here, maybe. We can lock down something and maybe get a cheeky attack off. So Ethereal Armor on the Ginger Brute. Let's see what they end up loading up. All right, well, let's flash in the Floodpitch Drowner, tap down the Ginger Brute, and if they want to attack in with that, I think... Am I okay trading here? Or do I want to shuffle away the Ginger Brute? And I think it's probably okay to do it that way. Oh boy, our mana base kind of hurting us. Usually the abandoned air temples aren't much of a problem. They come in untapped unless we have a basic land. And usually this deck we do have a basic land, but this time around, can't find it. Opponent attacks and has nothing? Wow. Okay. Well, abandoned air temple. And we're going to just hold up the Aven Interrupter. Hopefully try to get something. We are down to 13 though. We are kind of bleeding. And there's the Surgical Suite, which is a pretty good spell snare target. Why is it good? Because it's 2 CMC. I didn't even bother reading what the card did. Hi, lands. Can you please stop being drawn? They are down to 1 card. They have flooded out just as much as we have flooded out. There's a Seam Rip for value. A value Seam Rip. You gotta love it. Okay. Yeah, that sucks. Sure, take 5 damage. That's not cool. All right. Let's go to end step. Okay. We'll put out the Aven Interrupter. I don't know. This sucks, man. This sucks. So now I do have the Floodpitch Drowner. I can't really use the Abandoned Air Temple, but I guess the Floodpitch Drowner is going to be able to bounce something. And if we can clear the board, what we need is like an Avatar's Wrath here. Ooh, Veteran Survivor, pretty good. Ginger Brute, unblockable, but we are going to tap it down. Tap, 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 tap. And I'm okay trading. Do I trade like this and bounce away the Ginger Brute? I think probably that's the play, right? Or do I just do this and deal with the Ginger Brute later? Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll regret that. We'll see. This we can't really put out on tap. I will. Now looking at that block was awfully sus. All right, but we do have the Aang Swift Savior now that we can bounce the Ginger Brute. Like Aang coming in to possibly save us here is pretty good. We will go in with the Aang, and I will bounce the Ginger Brute back to hand. The Ethereal Armor falls off. Ooh, that was a sketchy. That was sketchy, but we got there. We got there. No worries. As long as you have my boy, old bald head here, we'll be okay. I think we'll go 2 more, maybe 3 more. We'll see, but probably just 2 more games. 7 games in total, not too bad. We get to go first. We got the Spell Snare. I like it. I like it a lot. I think I'm going to go out with the Multiversal Passage on turn 1, put it on blue, and, you know, because we're not going to be able to Spell Snare or anything anyways on turn number 1. And we'll see what the opponent's up to. A Spell Snare, honestly, it's been pretty fantastic. I find best of 1, a lot of people are leaning into, you know, lots of 2 CMC stuff. Everybody's playing 1, 2, and 3 CMC stuff. If something has 4 CMC, like, is it really even playable in the current standard? So a card like Spell Snare just gets so much value. Cards like No More Lies also get a lot of value, but they do run out of value very quickly because if everybody's playing 1, 2, and 3 CMC things, people do build up to enough mana to just play around it. Glimpse the Core, oh, whatever, sure. We're not going to let them ramp. This is a ramp deck. Well, I have no idea what the opponent's doing, but I think it's fine to do that. Now we have the Tishanas, we have the Aven Interrupter, we have options to do various things next turn, and then we have the Enduring Curiosity to refill our hand. Maybe we'll be okay. You don't see this card too much. You know what? Tempo Tishanas to the field. I don't hate it. And I am going to put this out on white. I think our deck is a little bit more white than it is other things. I'm not going to put out the Enduring Curiosity right now because I'd rather be able to stop their turn 4 play with either the No More Lies or the Aven Interrupter. If they don't do anything, though, we do flash out the Enduring Curiosity. So I think paying the 2 life there to have the option of doing the Enduring Curiosity is pretty valuable. A Twin Maw Stormbrood. Well, okay. I think that is fine in my book. They have a Fable Passage. Do they have a follow-up? I'm kind of hoping that they don't have a follow-up here, and then I can just put the Enduring Curiosity out on the field, and then it can attack in pretty freely. Okay. So Enduring Curiosity out, and now we have Aven Interrupter. We have No More Lies. Fantastic. We get to draw a card here, and we're going to be chipping away 4 or 6 points of damage for the next bunch of turns. Look at this position. This is the position that you want to be in. It's absolutely fantastic, right? What can sociables do under the thumb of this? It feels so oppressive. Also, now I'm thinking Multiversal Passage maybe might be better on blue, considering that we do have Abandoned Air Temples. Do I just do Aven Interrupter here? Yeah, sure. Plot that away, which might end up coming back to bite me in the butt at some point, but I really want to put them on a clock here, and I really want to draw 2 cards. So if they spend their next turn trying to battle through these No More Lies, then we win because we have the Abandoned Air Temple to pump up these things to get 8 total damage. So we do this, and they're going to go, oh, I can pay for it. Nope. So rude. All right. We take down another one. Take down another win against maybe an Elementals deck. I'm not really sure what this deck was. We tempoed them down so hard that we never got a chance to see what our opponent was actually up to. One more. Our 7th and final game. The deck is feeling so good. This is maybe one of the first hands that I'm really looking at and thinking, I mean, I've kept sketchier hands. We do have the No More Lies. We draw into a card. We do have some pretty good turn 3 stuff, but the opponent is going first. But we do have the avatars. I'm such a trash player. I keep some of the worst things, right? And these lands are not hollow found. Oh my god. Oh no, we're against final boss. Lessons. The final boss. And they have a turn 1 grand. Wow, we have basically nothing. We'll fight through this one, but we might have run into a little bit of a wall here fighting against old grand. She is quite the serious customer. When grand comes knocking, oh boy. The opponent kept a 1 land hand lands. Am I right? Yep. So what is their follow-up here? We can maybe hit them with a No More Lies. Stop whatever their turn 3 play is. If they end up trying to put down like an artist talent or something like that, we could maybe get away with something. I still think we're in really bad shape here, even though we drew into our lands quite nicely. Yeah, we'll see. It would be really nice if they use their mana right now like on an abandoned attachments or something like that. Boomerang basic. I'm kind of okay with this. Go for it. Because if they end up... Oh. Okay. So did they draw a land here? The problem is they're pinched on mana. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the Aang Swift Savior. I'm going to bounce the Otter. I'm going to block the Gran. And if they have a way of killing the Aang, it's not a big deal. Wow. Oh my god. It's so good for us. We've completely turned the corner here. You know what? I'm just going to go out with the Enduring Innocence. Yeah, get it on the field. I was going to hold up some counter magic, but I think putting out the Enduring Innocence, drawing cards, we're going to be in such a good spot here. The Accumulate Wisdom, no third land. They are 12 deep. They have completely gotten screwed by their decks. The opponent says GG, and I think that is probably right. They are in such a bad spot right now. I don't know, maybe I should put out the Enduring Innocence there. Gran. Let's hit it. Okay. Starting town. We'll draw a card off of the Enduring Innocence here. High Noon, good for future things. Let's put this on white. Again, I'm not really sure if it's white or blue. It was 100% blue there. I'm dumb. And we have our Aang Swift Savior to stop whatever their next play is here if it is something nasty. But I think we're probably just going to keep sending in the Sheep and Aang and just beating them down. We're also going to put out the... That's fine. I think it's fine. What are they going to... They're going to put the... you know what? Let's do it this way. So we got the kill next turn. What we're going to do is we're going to put 6 damage on their face right now. And then we have the High Noon for the future kill. 2, 4, 6, 7. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to hold up the Aven Interrupter. I was going to put the High Noon there, but next turn we can actually put out the High Noon plus dome them because we'll have 7 mana. Like we have it in spades. A game that I don't think I should have won, and the opponent getting stuck the way they did on their mana really gave us the time to get back in this game. I think I kind of kept something that was very questionable, and against the Lessons deck, I mean, it is a very powerful deck. Sure, do your boomerang basic stuff. Yep. No big deal. They say good game. That's rough, buddy. Oh, I missed it. I wanted to say good game back and I missed it. That's a good run with this deck. That ends up going 2, 4, 6, 7, and 1. We lost to the Unholy Annex only. Wrap up. All right, so I'm happy to say that the Azorius Tempo list that I have here does feel pretty good. I think it's one of those decks that does take a little bit of getting used to figure it out. There are some weird things, weird interactions with how you have to play around High Noon, and you know, there are some matchups that are going to feel pretty bad. I think if we go up against a control list that is making a lot of their land drops and we don't have that early aggression with a good Voice of Victory, or you know, some of these 3 drops that actually stick on the field, that matchup can actually be pretty rough because suddenly our spell snares are useless, our no more lies are useless. They can play around a lot of our cards very effectively because they are also playing at instant speed. So if, as long as you don't run into too many like control decks and you have like a bad draw, you're pretty good. If you run into those creature decks, you can really lock them down. I think we saw that with a lot of the Cub matchups. It felt pretty good. There were some sketchy moments, but in the end, I think we get so much value out of our spell snare, no more lies, and then if you can get the High Noon Aven Interrupter Aang Swift Savior thing going, it just does so much for the deck. So overall, I love the way this deck feels right now. It's one of those ones that I'm sure if you are a fan of Azorius Tempo, you've already been playing it and you know that it's also a very fun one. So maybe try it out if you can. Unfortunately, like most standard decks these days, ones that do feel extra good, it's expensive. Lots and lots of rares going into this one, and they are not easy rares. I'm pretty sure literally everything except for these are mythics. These are all rares. So pretty tough deck to craft, but they are all good cards for the most part that you might have already in your collection. And you know what, High Noon, if you don't have it, it might be a good one to craft because there are so many of these prowess decks going around. Unfortunately, we didn't run into any of the prowess decks. The Is It Prowess, you know, dump out otters, load them up, go crazy, or even the Furduck Core Otter combo. We didn't run into that. High Noon, pretty good in that matchup as long as they don't have a Into the Floodmaw, which they always do, but just ignore that fact. That's it for this one. Let me know what you think about Azorius Tempo, if you've gone up against it, if you tried it yourself, and all that good stuff. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep pumping out a whole bunch of decks each week. So if you're still around, maybe you like the sound of my voice, sub up if you haven't done so. I'll start saying this once in a while at the end of these videos. And yeah, help this channel continue to grow. Thanks for watching. Take care for now. See you in the next one. Sarang ipuna, and bye-bye.